Hi, it's Olivia, and today I have some nonfiction recommendations for you. It feels like a good time because it is Nonfiction November, or if you've just been wanting to get into the genre, hopefully some of these books will catch your attention. I enjoyed all of these. Maybe some of them weren't 5 stars, but I'm still including them because I feel like they could be 5 stars to somebody else. The first recommendation is March by John Lewis. This is a graphic novel series actually, but I haven't read the third book, but it is excellent. And if you don't know who John Lewis is, he's a very notable activist and congressman who passed away this year. And this series is, I mean, again, I haven't finished it yet, but even from the first one, what I loved about it is it starts off with John Lewis at Obama's inauguration, and it kind of gives his backstory and all the stuff that he was involved in leading up to that point. And I just really love how it was structured like that, and the art was great. I think it was Nate Powell. I really think March is worth your time. And next I have An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth by Chris Hadfield, who is a really remarkable person. He's a Canadian astronaut, and he was the first Canadian to walk in space. And I don't know if this is much of a guide to life on Earth so much as his life story and all about his life both on Earth and in space. And what I loved is that it answered a lot of specific and nosy questions that I had for someone like him who has been on Earth and been beyond it. And I remember when I read it, he just came off as such a cool person. You may have come across his videos on YouTube where, the astronauts are showing you the things that they do in space. It's just cool, and I thought it was really interesting. Next, I have to recommend Becoming by Michelle Obama. I read this at the start of this year, and it definitely left an impact. I think especially reading it in my final semester of college just really resonated with me. She is such an intelligent and empathetic person, and her life experience was just really neat to be able to see, and she's just really inspiring. This book is very inspiring and hopeful, and I think especially young black women everywhere could probably relate to a thing or two that she talks about. So this one was a gem. Next I have Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and this is a science-heavy book. He is a scientist himself, and he gives you all of the research. And so if you're not into science research-heavy books, then maybe that won't be your thing, but this is the strongest plea I've ever seen for fixing your sleeping habits and your sleep routine and prioritizing it and seeing the importance of it. Even since I read like the first chapter of it, I felt like I was being called out because my sleep habits were and sometimes still are bad, but I've really seriously been working on that ever since reading this book. So I feel like this could be something helpful to a lot of people. Next is another memoir called Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and this is a very insightful and raw book. If you didn't know, Chanel Miller previously was known to the world as Emily Doe, who was the victim in the sexual assault case with Brock Turner. This was her chance to really reclaim herself, her identity, her story, and she did it well because you could tell she's got some very good writing skills. She shares everything from the details of the assault and everything leading up to it and after it, and how exhausting the process is going through the justice system to not even get the justice that she deserved. And she speaks on so many discussions surrounding like society and how society views victims and perpetrators in this case, or how society views women. And I think she really did a good job of telling her story. She did a really good job of voicing her feelings and how much she's reflected on things and the discussions that she has. I'm so glad she got to tell this story. Next is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and this is looking at the question of what makes successful people different, what makes them the high achievers and outliers that they are. And I think he brings a very important perspective, which is that it's not just their talent and work ethic, but it's also where it meets opportunity. And he gives you a variety of examples, and I feel like it's something I didn't really think about too much when considering successful people, and so I think it could be beneficial to other people to have. It just got so dark. I'm so irritated. I don't know how this will look, but we'll try it. I think I was talking about Outliers last, yeah. But I have one other book. This next one is going to come as no surprise to anyone who's watched my channel for a while because I always mention this author slash artist, Vashti Harrison's Little Leaders, and I think this is Little Dreamers, there's Little Leaders, and there's Little Legends, but all of them provide these biographies of maybe lesser known visionaries and historical figures and notable figures, and it's just so well done. I really, really adore the art associated with each biography. It's just very easy to consume and read with the kids. I just think this is a great way for kids and adults alike to get exposed to figures that maybe history has not given enough attention to. Alright, the last book, because it's time to wrap this up because I can tell editing Olivia is not going to be happy with the lighting. Yep. Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. And this, like a few others on this list of recommendations, I picked because I value the perspective that it gives. And this is written by a surgeon who is really looking at where medicine meets end-of-life care and hospice care and end-of-life care and assisted living. He examines all of that and really what makes for a quality end of life, or if you're terminally ill. And he also shows how it's important to not just think of these questions when the time comes or when a family member reaches this time. It's really interesting to get his perspective as a doctor, looking at how medicine sometimes isn't beneficial or how it can be a hindrance sometimes with quality end-of-life care. And so I just think this is a valuable book to read for most people. So that's all I have for today. I will see you in another video, and thank you for watching. Bye. Actually, not bye, if you're still here, hello. I'm pretty sure I got up at some point in this video and I should address this. Behind me, I don't know if it's showing on camera, but I have these very suspicious stains on my wall because I was trying to be creative in my last video, or 2 videos ago. You see these hands? Of all the stains I could have got on my wall, when I did my haunted video for Succulent Prey, I had the little sticky hands back there. They weren't even on for that long and they stained the wall, and I've tried to get them out, and that's the stain I have on my wall. And so if you see them in the background, do not think that I am a serial killer. I promise you, they're just stains.